Qualifying for the World Swimming Championships is turning up some outstanding results. 10 have now qualified for Russia, with Corey Main, one of those hoping to add a second event to his list tonight in the 200 backstroke, while our leading light, Lauren Boyle, will look to carve out a quick 800. The West Wave Aquatic Centre is host to the New Zealand Open Championships, and we're into the third session of finals and more qualifying standards to be reached. Well, I said that quite confidently, didn't I? More standards to be reached, but I'm sure we will see more standards bettered tonight. Main and Boyle, for example, and also Glenn Snyders. We expect them to add to their achievements, and maybe we'll see an addition to the list as well, because it may well be that someone outsider, a youngster, gets through. Someone like Alex Hancock's, perhaps, who's in the 100 metres butterfly tonight. So while I head off upstairs and get ready to commentate the first race, I'd like your thoughts on that, Ian and Mark.
Yep, thanks very much, John. I'm on Paul's side here with Mark Boner, expert commentator for tonight's action. Alex Hancock, explosive start in the 100 butterfly up against one of the stars of this meet, Bradley Ashby.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a heck of a race because there's potentially a relay team up for grabs, Ian. And, you know, we've already had two qualifiers in the individual event. That's the backstroke and the breaststroke. And now we need a butterfly to come through for that all-important relay. So it's going to be great. Look, he's the team captain of his university in the States, in Alabama, and he's going to use all that experience.
So let's take a look at the qualifiers so far for the World Games in Russia. Bobby Gashard, outstanding young 15-year-old backstroker last night. She got there, as too did Nathan Catt. Let's take a look at tonight's program. Day 3 of the New Zealand Opens for 2015. We've talked about the 100 fly. That's going to start. If we really look at the men's 200-metre backstroke, Corey Main already qualified in the 100 back, with this as his favourite event.
Yeah, this is his best event, and he needs to go under their magic 2-minute mark. And if he can do that, then that's another security on the team as well, and that's really important. But I also think that we've got one real exciting swimmer, Taylor McEwen. She's over here from Australia. She is the Commonwealth Games champion in the 200 breaststroke. And isn't it great to have overseas competitors coming to our nationals?
George Egglesfield, who's the title holder, Alex Hancock, but chatted about Bradley Ashby already with an excellent qualifying in the 200 IM behind him. And then there's others such as Foot and Poliansky, Kutsia, Sean Burnett, who has already got one victory behind him already as well this weekend over the event.
It's interesting, John. Alex Hancock, as we've said, is the captain at the Auburn University. He's a senior there, and it's a really huge credit to become a captain of your university swimming team.
Corne Swanepoel's New Zealand record is 51.61. The world qualifying time is 52.52. The B standard is 53.05. So we're looking at lots of things in this race. Winning, good times, 2 going through, relay in mind.
Oh, look, I really like the way that Hancock looks right now. He's just rolling those hips. Look at the momentum that he's gained out of the first 50 metres, and he's going to touch. That's a very good split, 24.81. Wow. 25.0 this morning, so he's really in great shape. Here comes Ashby, though, on his right-hand side, furthest away from the screen. But boy, Hancock, I just like the way that he's swimming and the aggression that he's showing. I just hope that he can keep this up.
And that's the problem for him. Can he? Has he got the strength to carry on? He went out very quickly. He's being picked up by Ashby. This is a great race and well timed by Bradley Ashby to the line in 53.72. They are slower than we wanted, slower than they wanted. So Ashby wins it. Hancock's second. And there's our winner, Bradley Ashby, qualified in the 200 IM. So there we see Ashby first, Hancock second, and Isaac Foot in third place. Dawson, Egglesfield, Burnett, Kutsia, and Poliansky. That's the way they finished in the men's 100 butterfly, the A final. This lineup is looking for big things tonight. Laura Quilter will go out in lane 4 from North Shore. She's the fastest qualifier this morning at 56.61. The qualifying standard is a 55.05. The New Zealand record, Hayley Palmer, as we saw, holds that at 53.91. Hayley Edmond from North Shore, second in the 53 last year. This is Quilter coming up in lane number 4. She's 22 years of age. Moynihan from Raumati, coached by former New Zealand rep John Winter, as they go now. The 100 freestyle A final. The start important, and they all get away well. Looking down here at Samantha Lee, she looks smooth in the water here, but cast your eye across, and in lane 4, it is Laura Quilter who just has her head in front, but there's nothing in it.
Well, Samantha Lee is very experienced in lane number 1, closest to the camera with the Capital Club, from the Capital Club, but Laura Quilter now just starting to assert herself along with Hayley Edmund, both from the North Shore, and it is turning first with a 27.10. Not a bad split over the first 50, and that's Quilter. She actually hasn't gone out as hard as I thought, and she looks really strong right now. She's got about almost about a quarter of her body length. Coming very hard now is Georgia Maris on her far side. And John will just bring them home. We're wanting to see a very good split here in the last part.
It's a battle. It's a battle between lanes 4 and 5. Is it going to be Quilter? Is it going to be Maris? It is going to be Quilter just. 56.64. 56.64 to Quilter. Not showing great enjoyment there. She has won the title, but Georgia Marison, that was a stunning last 25. They were at it, nothing in it. Quilter, Maris, maybe in third place we had Samantha Lee, might have hung on in lane number 1. There's the start, and it was a good start down the bottom here by Lee, but last into her work. But we saw instantly Quilter and Maris, and at the turn it was Quilter off the wall, and you were saying, can she hang on here? Well, she did, but only just.
Boy, she wouldn't have wanted any more pull length, would she? That wall just needed to come to her. 56.64, she'll be disappointed, and that's probably why she showed a bit of frustration. It's not an improvement on a time from this morning, and you know, you always try to come back in the evening and you want to have a faster time.
Well, these comments tonight from Mark Bone, himself a former New Zealand coach. He was at the Olympic Games when Daniel Loader won those 2 gold medals in 1996, so he knows what he's talking about. Men's 200 backstroke. Gosh, here we go. Corey Mayne in lane 4. Corey Mayne has qualified for the World Championships, and alongside him in lane 3, Matthew Stanley. He's qualified for the World Championships, and alongside him in lane 2, Bradley Ashby. He's also qualified.
Well, Bradley Ashby's also just had the 100 butterfly, which he won.
So this is Stanley, based in Australia, qualified in the 400 freestyle, just missed out on the 200, but this time he fronts up in the backstroke. Lots to watch. Late gun down in 1, Bradley Ashby in 2, then Stanley, Mayne, Coetzee, Jackson Crop in 6, Blackborough of Australia is in 7, and Trembath of Neptune in 8. And they're very much under Bradley Ashby at the moment. And out wide, that may be Daniel Blackborough, one of the visitors who's here. And he's looking smooth way out there at the top in lane number 7. He might touch first, in fact.
That was a fantastic start by Bradley Ashby. He looked excellent. Just an unusual stance that Corey Mayne took up on the starting blocks, and he's just behind at this stage. So one of our visitors takes us through the first 50 metres, but this is the back half of the race now. This is where you'll start to see in lane number 4, Corey Mayne starting to move up. Now we want to see them go through under the 1 minute. In fact, we want to see really low 59, high 58 over the first 100 metres.
It's quite a deceptive shot we were seeing there, and now we get the better real picture of them as they turn, with Stanley now in front from Mayne and Ashby. So Matthew Stanley, after that, she talked about his start mark. He's now in lane 3 and looking smooth. This swimmer in the red cap is Ashby, and on the other side of Stanley is Mayne. So Mayne now, from that angle, looks as though he's just starting to wind it up a wee bit and move into the front. He's the favourite, Corey Mayne in lane 4.
Yeah, you can see his stroke rate starting to really step up now. We want him to under 129, 129 thereabouts. So it's a little bit slow, 130.4. Now he's going to have to absolutely blitz it over the last 50 metres. You can see that Matthew Stanley comes off the wall extremely well, but he doesn't break out hard. He gets the best distance that he possibly can because of his immense height of 6'7" under the old empirical measurements. But here is Corey Mayne just winding up. But have a look also at Ashby.
Ashby, we've seen him fight back in previous races tonight. He won't fight back enough in this. But look at Mayne. He's way outside that qualifying time. We saw the white line, which was the World Championship qualifying time, disappear into the background. 2:01. He won't be at all delighted with that. I know he's qualified for the World Championships already, but the aim of Main would, I'm sure, to have been to crack that championship time again, the qualifying standard of 1:59. He hasn't broken 2 minutes. Second place was Stanley in 2:01.46, and third Bradley Ashby in 2:01.91.
So hopefully when we see the replay, have a look at the start there, particularly of Ashby. Really good start and beautiful underwater. Just the driving of the legs through the knees. Not a lot of upper body. That's very staunch, very still.
But you mentioned at the 150, they really need to do some work to get up to that time, and they weren't able to haul it back. Negative splitting didn't work for them, and you can sense by that Corey Main's just didn't work for him.
Yeah, he was perpetually just shaking his head at the air because he knew that he just didn't put a good race together.
2:01. 2 minutes 01, 2 minutes and 1 second for Corey Main. Matthew Stanley second, Bradley Ashby, then Kitsea, Blackborough, Crop, Trembath and Gunn. The 200 backstroke final. There's a full lineup with Gordon, Tate, Johnson and McEwen is the Australian. We'll be talking about her. Natasha Lloyd, Jane Ip, Ellie Eastwood and Caitlin Mann. So Abby Johnson, North Shore, outstanding young swimmer, as an age group swimmer. She really knocked everything over, had some great clashes with Natasha Lloyd, and we'll see that again tonight. She's swimming in lane number 3.
Well, it'll be very much all about McEwen, but Natasha Lloyd won the 100 breaststroke.
Yeah.
And won it really well. Looked superb from now training out of the Auburn University, and you could see the Auburn University togs that she was wearing, the big A.
Well, the thing too is that she swam well on the relay last night. I suppose not much pressure there, but she's feeling good in the water, and that's so important. So Lloyd is in 5, McEwen in 4, and Johnson in 3. They're the ones that we expect to be there at the finish in this women's 200 metres breaststroke A final. The World Championship time is 2:28. And the New Zealand record is 2:30.54, 2:31. So Lloyd had her best time in the 100 a couple of nights ago, so she's in good form. She trails at the moment McEwen by 1.15 seconds.
Well, have a look at McEwen. This is why she is the Commonwealth Games champion, particularly in the 200 breaststroke rather than the 100. You get maximum length. Have a look. After every time she breathes, she kicks her body right to the front, and she gets maximum distance per stroke. It's almost a continuous glide, and you can see just as her momentum starts to decrease, she outsweeps the arms and then goes into the pool, and then followed by the kick. 109.89, that's a really good split through the first 100 metres. Faster than what she set this morning. But I like the way that Natasha Lloyd also is swimming. I like her technique. She's obviously changed it a little bit while she's been over at the university in the States. But McEwen, just have a look. She's under that water in that streamlined position for so long. Have a look how much power there is out of the kick. You can see the turbulence that she's generating behind as a result of it. And particularly when you see the glide, she's obviously getting the maximum amount out of a kick that she can. So 147.84, she's on target for a really good split here. She went to 2:22 at the US Opens a year ago, where she set her fastest time that she's ever set. She's not going to do that tonight, but it's not going to be far off it.
Well, this is a sprint home now for Taylor McEwen. But it's great interest in how the Kiwis are going, Natasha Lloyd and Abby Johnson, because they were closing the gap on each other. Although Lloyd now, I thought that Johnson was starting to close the gap, but Lloyd is finishing quite strongly. That's the World Championship qualifying mark that the visitor, Taylor McEwen, is well inside at 2:25. And coming to the wall and finishing second was Natasha Lloyd, and that's a 2:31, 2:32. 2:32 exactly.
It's a good swim from Natasha Lloyd, and she'll be really pleased with that. I'm sure that'll qualify her for the University Games.
Well, I wonder if that's a PB for her, actually, because that's a very good time for Natasha Lloyd.
Well, actually, I've just looked it up, so it does qualify her for the World University Championships. She did that and also in the 100 breaststroke, and she was delighted with that. So she's come back from the States in really good shape. But McEwen, just have a look at the distance per stroke. I like the way Lloyd's swimming as well.
Well, there's Natasha Lloyd's time, 2:32. In fact, a couple of years ago when she won this title, she did a 2:30. So it's not as fast as she's gone previously, but it shows that she's coming back into form. And there were a few concerns about her, but she settled in nicely in the States and comes back here. So McEwen wins at 2:25. That's a fast time to see in New Zealand. Abby Johnson third. So the race won by Taylor McEwen, but the title will go to the New Zealander, Natasha Lloyd, as we look forward to the men's breaststroke final, the 200. And we'll see there, of course, Glenn Snyder's his New Zealand record, 2:10.55. He's already qualified for the World Championships.
I was just talking to Glenn earlier on before he went into the warming up, and he said, let's just get over with this. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah. I want to get back to the States. He's got a gorgeous fiancée over there, and I can understand why he wants to get back there, but also wants to get back into training. Yep,
George Schroeder will swim inside Snyder's. He's in lane 3. New Zealand record is 2:10.55, qualifying standard 2:11.71. So Snyder's is in such great form. They've already got his medal out, but it's what happens outside of him in this race, really, isn't it? What improvement have these others made? And you talk about Leighton, another of those who's training overseas, and we've seen so much of an improvement from a lot of their swimmers who are overseas, and that just shows the advantage of them getting that top competition and top coaching there.
Yeah, it is a combination, isn't it? It's also in really good facilities over there as well, and that makes a difference. I mean, we struggle in New Zealand to get 50-metre water space, and that is often a downside of training in New Zealand. There's not a lot of pools, and a lot of the pools that are 50 metres, they have a bulkhead, and they're constantly brought back to 25 to be more versatile. Have a look at Glenn Snyder's here. As he said, this is not his preferred event, the 200 breaststroke. And he just wants to get this through, just get back into the United States, back into California, and start training again. Should see him probably go through in about a 104, well, a 103.85. He's on target for a pretty good swim here. It won't be great, but it'll be a pretty good swim. I like the fact that Julian Leighton has come back at him, and because he was quite some distance behind after the first 50 metres. You can see the difference in the contrasting styles. Glenn Snyder's very flat, very streamlined, whereas Leighton is up and down, comes up and then accelerates forward. So he gets the maximum amount. Now you can also see a little bit more of a dolphin action occurring out of Leighton's hips, and that's because of the high upper body. Now we're seeing the 150 now. We want to go through at 138.59. That's not bad, but Leighton is really right there. Leighton is coming back, and Glenn Snyder's may lose his title for the first time. He's right on his shoulder, but Glenn Snyder's will pull something out, I'm sure.
We haven't seen this for many, many years. Someone in Snyder's shadow. And Snyder's was aware of it as they went to the wall with 50 to go. And Snyder's now is behind. Snyder's is behind Julian Leighton. They're both behind that world qualifying time, but this is an upset, and a new name goes on the 200 metres breaststroke New Zealand title. It's Julian Leighton. And we see the result, 2:12.81. So this morning, Leighton did a 2:19. So that's 7 seconds faster this morning, almost. Snyder's a 2:13 now. Alex Peach was third. We didn't even talk about the others, really. George Schroeder was in fourth. But Julian Leighton is the new title holder for the men's 200 breaststroke.
Well, this is bragging rights, isn't it? The men's 50 metres freestyle. The fastest man in New Zealand swimming. Who's it going to be?
Well, it's been Nielsen Varoy for a while, hasn't he? He's been up there or thereabouts, but God, gosh, remember that one. Orinoco Pharmaceutical Banster, 2008, when he went off to the Beijing Olympics on the back of that New Zealand record. Boy, he could fly too. He could really go. So we've got the brothers Main in this. You'll see Bailey in 1 and Corey in 3. Nielsen Varoy, big tall man in lane 2. Daniel Hunter, who impressed us so much at the zonals earlier this year. Sam Perry in 5. Alex Hancock comes out in lane 6. Willie Benson in 7. Julian Weir in lane 8.
A tremendous start by Hunter in lane number 4. In fact, a good start by all of them. Nielsen Veroy, the real sprinter in lane number 2. But Hunter has got his nose out in front, albeit by the smallest margin. Veroy, he'll go out. Will he dare to hold on? But Hunter, I think he's got this sewn up already. This young man, this 20-year-old out of the Howie Pakuranga club.
Hunter does win it in 22.59. That's a pretty quick time as well. 22.59, Daniel Hunter. So he continues with that outstanding form we saw from him. Corey Main second and Sam Perry in third place.
Well, John, that's his first ever national title too for Daniel Hunter, and he's gone under the World University Games qualifying time. And he actually had a real big advantage in the end. It was a tremendous finish, but a tremendous race. Put it all together, he was composed, consistent throughout the whole race.
Confirmed there, 22.59, 22.87, 22.99, all under 23 seconds. Hunter, Corey Main and Perry. Veroy loses his title. He's been a great champion. Hancock's, Weir, Benson and Bailey Main. The men's 50 free.
It'll be just interesting to see how well the rest of the other 7 swimmers can go after Lauren Boyd, whether or not they can attack her as well.
The queen of the water here in New Zealand, Lauren Boyle, comes out strongly in lane 4, and already she's up there. Helena Gasson over in lane 6 is starting well, but this is the 800 metres. There's a long way to go and a lot to talk about. In between Gasson and Boyle is Emma Robinson. So those are the 3 we can see there, the 2 black caps and the red cap. Gasson in the red, Robinson, and coming down to Boyle here.
It's a really tough ask for Lauren Boyle. She swam a 1500 last night, and really what was still a world-class swim over the 30 lengths of the pool. Has to back it up the next night with an 800 metres freestyle. So, you know, she's having a big program. She's also going to do the 200, well, she's done the 200 and 400. So there's a big ask of her to continuously get up and race well.
That's right. We expect her to be on top of a game all the time, but it's a difficult meet. I'm just looking at those the World Championships. They're going to be held in Kazan in July or early August. 2nd of August is day 1, in which the 400 freestyle for women will be swum, and also the 100 breaststroke for men. So on day 1 of the World Championships, we're going to see Boyle and Snyders in action, 2 of our best swimmers.
She's going to come in here with 100 metres still to swim, so she gets the bell, and so that last 100 just fell off, a 104 for that last 100 metres. But if you have a look at that and add another 104, and that's a 824, yeah, she'll go faster than that because she'll put on a bit of a sprint over the last 100 metres. That's a really good swim if she can do that. 825 she set at the Australian Nationals. She was only allowed to swim in the heats there, but I'm pretty confident that she's going to do a better time.
Well, she looks so smooth. She's given herself another tough competition here, the 200, 400, 800, 1500, and she won't be doing that amount of races at the World Championships. But the fact that she is, everyone's got their eye on her worldwide because they know what a threat she is. All the best swimmers in the world will be taking notice of what Lauren Boyle's doing at these nationals.
And a really good swim by Emma Robertson too. Look at her wind up at 25 metres to go. But it is Lauren Boyle, and she's going to touch well under the qualifying time. And look, John, that's an excellent time, 8:23.57.
And she's given it everything here. And coming to the wall now is wow, Emma Robinson.
Blitzed it, absolutely blitzed it.
8:31. So Boyle 8:23, Robinson 8:31. The qualifying time was 8:35.99. We knew that Boyle would go under that in a canter, but Robinson as well. Monique King third and 8:56.